Hello and welcome to Daily Politics, reaching you from Trust TV here in Abuja. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Suleiman Suleiman. Tonight, we'll be looking at Kano in the politics of 2023 elections. Kano, of course, prides itself as the belly of an elephant, in tribute to its cosmopolitan history. It is the commercial nerve center of northern Nigeria, but also its political heartbeat. In fact, politics in Kano is like nowhere else in Nigeria. For example, 3 former governors of the state are still active in politics. 2 of them are serving senators, and the other is known to be in the run for the presidency. Add to that a strong incumbent governor, and you have a political atmosphere with plots and twists and turns that you can't find anywhere else in the country. As we move closer to the D-Day in 2023, Kano is leading the pack with fireworks that have pitted these former governors and the current one and their ambitions against each other. Today, one of the biggest names in modern Kano politics is with us on Daily Politics. The Konkosia political movement in Kano has spread all over the country, and some would say all over the world. And at the back of it is the founder, Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who has become an immortal of sorts in Kano politics with a strong and loyal following. But remember, in Kano, political affiliation doesn't tell all the story, because politics in Kano changes per second. So I have with me here today to examine where the local meets the national in Kano politics. And with me to examine that is former governor of Kano State and presidential hopeful, His Excellency Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. But before we proceed into the discussion proper, we will take a break. And when we return, we'll just jump right into it. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and with me is former governor of Kano State, former senator representing Kano Central, Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and we're talking about where the local meets the national in Kano politics. You're much welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Suleiman.
Yeah. So, as we inch closer to 2023 elections, the political landscape is becoming more and more animated. A lot of people are declaring for the presidency, a lot of people, calculations and permutations, alliances and realliances and so on. Kano is one of the places where anyone who wants to be president in Nigeria will have their eyes on. Kano is where you happen to also come from, having been governor there for 8 years, been senator for 4 years as well, and been one of the leading lights of politics in that state in recent memory. So what are your plans? What are what your movement, the Konkosia, where is it in Kano now?
Well, thank you very much. And I also thank you for giving me this opportunity. Well, this is 2022, a year before election. Election, by the grace of God, is coming early next year. I think according to INEC, in February. Now, all arrangements, all preparations have to be done this year. And that's why you have all these activities that we mentioned taking place. For Kano, I don't think there is any serious issue as far as we are concerned. Kano, over the years, at least as a civil servant, I spent 17 years in the civil service. And that is why my first constituency in Kano, in addition to my hometown or my ward, Konkoso, the second is Reka, where I spent 17 years of my life working for the state. And it gave me ample opportunity to have contact because at a stage I was the officer in charge of services in Kano State. I'm talking of all the Kano State.
Okay. That's Kano plus Jigawa?
Yes.
Really?
And we have done so much, and we had so much opportunity to communicate with people. And that is a very solid beginning for me outside my ward and my local government, Madobi local government now. I'm sure you know I left the civil service in 1991, joined politics in same 91 and became member of the House of Reps and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives in 1992. I was in the Constitutional Conference. I was a delegate or elected delegate to the Constitutional Conference of 1994-95. And that's when we had opportunity to draft the 1999 Constitution. It goes on and on. As you said, I was a governor, I was a senator, I was in the NDDC representing Northwest, and I was also advisor to President on Darfur and Somalia, because these were areas of concern, not only to those countries, but also to Africa. And going by our position, we had keen interest to ensure that not only Liberia or Somalia, but also Sudan, we had peace in that part of the country. So for Kano, I want to say that we have done so much over the years, and people have been convinced, as far as I'm concerned, any day, any time, because we designed our politics in such a way that we keep on expanding from my ward, my local government, the state, outside the state, Northwest, North, and then Nigeria. And I'm happy to say that our movement has even gone beyond the shores of this country. Okay. We have many offices outside the country, in Africa, in Europe, in America, and even in Asia. So, and people are not only using our color, the red, white, and black, we are using Konkosia itself to contest election. Very serious contestants at national level in many countries in this country and this world. So Kano being our base, our foundation, I believe we need to do very little any day, any time, because over the years we're able to convince them that Konkosia is the way for the state and Konkosia is the way for the country in terms of ideology, in terms of projects and programs, and in terms of the general development and security of the people in this country.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's interesting the historical dimension that you brought into the discussion, how the Konkosia movement started, particularly about yourself. But you're presently in the PDP, and the ruling party in the state, the one in government right now, is APC. But the governor is in his final term. So a new governor will be elected in Kano in 2023, like in many other states in the country. And this governor has to come either from PDP or from APC or from any of the other political parties in the country. So where is the Konkosia movement located within the fight for the Kano ticket at that level, first of all?
No, there's nothing to fight in Kano. If you look at our figures from 2015, it was overwhelming. Unfortunately, after the 2015 election, the governor decided to leave Konkosia. It was a big, under normal circumstance, setback. The governor, the deputy governor, state assembly, House of Reps, senators, everybody, because normally in Nigerian politics, people believe that it is a seat. If you are the governor, it's final. You have the president, it's final. People are forgetting that we had president in 2015. And some of us decided that the country at that time needed change. And we came together and effected that change from sitting president who, under normal circumstances, was sure of getting second term on winning election. But at the end of the day, we defeated him. And that was exactly what happened in Kano in 2019. All those people who left, plus those who were together with us, and so on and so forth, they all came together. And everybody knows what happened in Kano in 2019. And as a group, as a leadership, we have made the point very clear that any day, any time, the group, Konkosia group in Kano, would win election. And the good thing about Konkosia is that it is like gold. It is increasing its value with time, because all what we have been planting in the people's minds, in wherever we find ourselves, is positive and positive things for everybody. Those who didn't understand with time now are understanding. And I believe even those who are not understanding with time, they will come to believe that Konkosia is the way out. And therefore, for Kano, there is just, as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing to fight. It's a settled matter. Even the mistakes that were being done, which in a way it was not exactly a mistake, but for strategic reasons, there was an election. We won that election.
You mean the PDP won in Kano in 2019? Okay.
Any day, any time, everybody knows that. It's not only in Kano, in Nigeria, or international. It's everywhere. Everybody knows what happened. It wasn't a hidden thing. But we decided to take it easy for many obvious reasons. But certainly, the only thing we are doing now is to strategize and ensure that whoever wins the election in 2023 is given the seat. That is the only way you have.
And you are confident that person will be a Konkosia person?
Oh, there's no question about it. And what we are saying, and I hope and I'm happy that history is vindicating us. Okay. We told everybody in Kano, even those who imposed from the national, that democracy doesn't work that way. If your enemy wins, you give him. I was in government in 2003. I lost election in inverted commas. Yes. I knew what happened.
You mean you did not believe you lose?
Yeah, whatever.
You didn't believe that you lost the 2023 election?
Yes. You see, result was announced.
Your party was in power at the national level. The PDP was in power at the national level. And you were an incumbent governor between 1999 and 2003. So it would have been impossible or quite difficult for an opposition party to skim you out of an election that you won.
You see, the Konkosia is different anytime, any day. You see, we are doing our foundation and building from grassroots. And that offends many people.
Okay.
And at any given time, you have people out there, whether you are in the same party or outside the party, who feel not comfortable with the success of Konkosia. And that's how we have been operating over the years. But because we stood on the side of the truth, God protected us, protected our lives, protected our integrity, and we are even waxing stronger today. Many years ago, some people would send people to go and sample public opinion to know who is in charge of Kano politics, which group, which party. I'm sure only a madman will want to do that now because it's very clear. You don't have to go and do any sampling. And not only in Kano. It's only in Kano that, people are looking at Kano because that's where we have boxes, election boxes where you can go and count figures. But I can tell you, in the entire Northwest now, you'll be surprised. Any given opportunity, people will certainly be shocked by the strength of Konkosia, not only in Northwest, even in northern Nigeria and the country at large.
Thank you.
So we are growing
maybe we can
quietly
move towards the country more clearly. This rumor that, or these statements that the current governor, who used to be your deputy for 8 years and with whom you used to work well together, that the two of you are reconciling. Now, a lot of people have asked you that question of whether this is true or not. I don't know if we're even interested in that. Our interest is that if one looks at Kano politics, you will see that it has always been former governors, or former titans of the state, 2 or 3, once they are in the same team, then they tend to win over any other person. This has happened since the days of Rimi, since the days of Aminikono, up till today. So the question is are you teaming up back with Ganduje because that represents, the alliance of strength that can defeat anyone else in Kano?
You see, I think you are wrong in the sense that we had an election in 2019. 3 on one side, 1 was on the other. 3 of them, all of them. And everybody knows we defeated them. So it's not a matter of 3, 2. Yeah, it was the government, with everything. 3 of them was federal government, was state government, was local governments, 100%. Okay. We are on the other side with young men and women in Kano. And of course, the people who really loved the state, who wanted progress. We all came with no money, no nothing. We went into election. So it's not a matter of governor or senator. We had none. No deputy governor, either serving or former. No governor, no ambassador, nothing, even senator. We didn't have in the Konkosia at that particular time. So it's not a matter of number of big people. Kind of politics doesn't go that way. The more you bring in big people and go into election, the more probably you get surprised by the thinking of our people. And you see, the way we operate in Konkosia is completely different. We believe in building people. If you look at the history, forget about my days in the House of Reps or when I was in the Constitutional Conference. Just take it from 1999 to date. The number of people we deliberately empowered, either in terms of education, from primary, secondary to tertiary level, to economic empowerment, social, and so on. Nobody, even me, cannot give you a figure now. we can only see the figure anytime election comes. Because you see, many people think that others are fools. They're not fools.
But sir, if I may interject, the Kosia movement you are talking about, people are wondering, is it still in the PDP, given the fact that the national politics of PDP is coming straight or has come straight into the PDP? I mean, in Kano, in a situation where you are having congresses, zonal congresses this weekend, and there are at least news in informal channels that some people have the Aminu Wali-led camp of the PDP, which is in opposition to your camp of the PDP, the ones fielding a candidate for that position, and that candidate enjoys the support of the other people. So is the Kosia still in the PDP, or is it in APC, or is it in a political limbo?
Well, I am sure Konkosia is always where Konkoso is. Okay. Today, Konkoso is in PDP. I am a member of PDP. Okay. Of course, like many other people who are in PDP or in APC, are very much concerned about what is happening in PDP and APC, of course. And that does not mean one is out of the party. We are in the party. We have pointed out areas of concern to everybody concerned. Our prayer and hope is that people will see reason and address those issues.
Okay. What if they don't?
Well, if they don't, of course, the consequences are there. We have seen it everywhere. We have seen party losing election even when they have government at the center, okay, what they call federal might. So we have seen same PDP losing election in 2019. And you see, so many people are making the big mistake, especially in PDP.
Okay. These people from the national or from local PDP in Kano?
Everywhere. Okay. You see, especially at the center. Okay. There are people who believe, yes, PDP has made some mistakes in from 1999 to 2015. They have acknowledged that. That was why, of course, it lost the election. And from 2015 to date, the same people also believe that this government has made a very big mistake. So now the election, they believe, is between those who make mistakes or who were bad, and now the case of very bad.
So the election is between bad and very bad.
That's what people...
Bad PDP and very bad APC?
That's what people think. And in that case, those who are doing that analysis are completely wrong. You see, and I believe that explains why you always have voter apathy. People, if you look at records, people are not very keen because they find it difficult to say, okay, which one? Beginning from even the 2019 general election. The last time we had people going out at the peak was in 2015, where a total number of about 27 million people went out to vote. And the graph is falling. And if care is not taken, it will even be worse in 2023, because people would have lost confidence in the two parties if they go the way they are going. You see, in life, as either as an individual like you and me, yes, or as a party like PDP and APC, if you want to be relevant, continue to be relevant, you have to be renewing yourself. We have been renewing ourselves. For example, by way of showing huge interest in supporting the younger ones And the more you show interest in supporting them, because they are not fools, they will also reciprocate by showing you real love. And that's why, for example, you go across the country, you find young men and women. Some of them were not even born when I started politics. But still, they feel that this is the right person, this is the right group. And these are some of the things that people in parties, especially leadership of the parties, have to look at and make sure that they are done. You don't sit down and start looking at the alphabets P, D, P, or A, P. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. What people want to see, hold on, what people want to see today is who is capable of stopping this nonsense we call insecurity in this country. What is wrong? What went wrong? Everybody is asking, including some of us who had opportunities to work with the military in this country. Why? People are asking themselves, for example, in Sokoto, in Zamfara, in Kebbi, even in Northeast, even in the South. How did we find ourselves in this sort of situation? When federal government, state governments, local governments, all leaders cannot protect them. They don't know why, what they have done to some people, many of them people within their own locality. They take arms, they go to them, they take money, they take their children, they take their wives, they take everything. Some take them to the bush for ransom. We heard that in some places now. People have to go and pay tax, not to the local government, not to the state, but to criminals. These people don't know what is happening. They don't know why the leaders are not doing anything about it. In some cases, there is no even concern about it, not even condolences, not even taking one or two things to help their problem. So these are some of the issues that people are worried. People are worried about the economy. What are you doing? Nigerians will ask, how do we improve the economy of this country? Young men and women are going all over the country. They are jobless. Some of us who started...
Maybe I have to stop you now so that we can take a short break. Thank you very much, viewers, for staying with us. I have been discussing where the local meets with the national in Kano politics with the former governor of the state, Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. We'll be taking just a short break. We'll be right back, and then we'll go further into it. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV. If you're just joining us, you can also follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now, of course, Twitter. Before we went on that short break, we were having a discussion with His Excellency Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano State and also one-time senator representing that state. We're talking about how the local meets the national in Kano politics, and then we continue. Your Excellency, sir, you were talking about that when you were talking that it's not just about APC or PDP, but about the issues that concern Nigerians. For example, security. I just thought that you're talking about the rumored idea that you're going to float a third force in Nigerian politics. Now, is that what we should be expecting? That because there are accusations that effectively you have been edged out of the PDP in Kano State, and that you are thinking of floating a third force. Is that what you were saying?
No, you see, in Kano politics today, almost 100% of PDP structure is under the leadership of Konkosia. Now, the only issue that came up in April last year was when we went for the zonal congress. Now, we had some people, some leaders within the zone who thought Konkosia is too strong or too important to be allowed to have the zonal leadership, even when nobody under the arrangement could take away the chairman of the zone from Kano State, because we were sharing the zonal chairman with Jigawa, and Jigawa spent over 8 years holding that position. So the only alternative is just to bring it to Kano. And because of some obvious reasons, people who ordinarily would appreciate the movement, because politics under normal circumstances is all about the people. And that's where the people are. And people, maybe for their personal interest, thought that they have to take it away from us. And some people went and purchased form for somebody from Kano, and that somebody has not been, in our opinion, fair with the PDP itself, not us. You see, in 2019, I didn't contest any election. I only supported people. But people thought if that is allowed within the group, it will help in the 2023 permutation. But we told them that, look, this group you are awarding or given this position are the very people who have done anti-party activity in 2019 election. And where you have serious people and you have serious parties, people will come and take action, including punishment. And you see, this idea of punishment, either as a family or as a party or as a government, as long as you don't have serious people who would look at issues objectively and take action, where you need to reward, you reward, where you need to punish you. Unless you do that, there will not be any peace. So people who have done anti-party, people who have been compensated by the opposition party, and those that were given positions are still there and still benefiting from the opposition
Are
party
you saying
that fought.
Senator Hayatu Gorzo was a former Konkosia himself?
Well,
Who has
yes.
now turned
Yes.
back?
Well, all, you see, Konkosia is a very wonderful organization. In a civilized society, you will have so many people studying the way and manner Konkosia is operating, especially in the universities and other tertiary institutions. You see, most of the people in Kano were at one time or the other in Konkosia. The Berry Bella Hayatu, I'm sure you know him.
Yes.
He was in the Senate 4 times under Konkosia, 16 years in the Senate. But for whatever reason, like many others who have benefited from the movement and decided to go against the movement, we have no problem with that. And we are even used to it. Every election cycle, you find people for no reason leaving the movement. We are even used to it. It will only be abnormal if it doesn't happen. So his was in 2015. When we were moving to APC, he said he would stay in PDP and fight. He would win his election. Of course, he contested and lost the election in 2015. So the issue is that the PDP at national level, even at zonal level, they don't understand. With due humility, the leadership of PDP and APC must go back to the drawing table and understand the ropes of politics. I believe Jonathan lost election mainly because he didn't understand the ropes. At that time, he didn't know who and who are important. Not only in Kano politics, in many states, he didn't know. If you go to him, either he likes your face, or you are dressing well, or you are speaking good grammar, he will say, this is the man. Now, they picked so many wrong people. At the end of the day, sitting president lost election. And we knew he would lose election. And just as it is today, if care is not taken, I don't see how PDP, the way it is operating, how it can win election without Kanu, with due humility, without the support of our supporters in the northern in the northwest and even in northern Nigeria. I told you, people have always been underrated us. We like it, it's very strategic. Because if you are underrating somebody, you go and sleep. And that's why we are hoping one of these days, Konkoso will be on the ballot paper. All what happened in 2019, Konkoso is just a director campaign of PDP in Kano. And we never tested Konkosia in anywhere in this country except in Kano. And I can tell you,
so maybe what about the presidential election itself?
Yes, that is what we are hoping.
One of the issues, for example, for Governor Nyesom Wike, he was in Kaduna State just a few days ago to see former governor of that state, Ahmad Makarfi. And then there are alliances. For example, the governor, former president, Vice President Atiku Abubakar also visited Governor Otom in Benue State. People are feeling that all of these are indications of, where the political race is going, particularly the idea that the presidency must be zoned to the south within the PDP. What are your positions?
Well, you see, the movements you mentioned are normal and usual. Makarfi traveled out of the country, he came back. Sitting governors or those of us who are his friends can always visit him and greet him. Anytime I go to Kaduna, that's the only place I go and, as my friend, my former colleague, many years. So there is nothing wrong with that. People.
Okay.
Right from the beginning, if I know, I would support you. And that is how it goes.
Are you saying that Nyesom Wike is that kind of person?
No, I'm not talking of any individual. I'm talking of the principle behind the whole thing. I'm not talking about him or any other person in PDP or in APC.
Sorry. So, Your Excellency, you've been speaking about PDP and APC almost more or less in the same breath. Like, if we shouldn't be surprised if we had tomorrow that you are back in the APC has been rumored. I'm not going to ask that question. But I will ask that, supposing you were, hypothetically speaking, supposing you were to join the APC today, how would it benefit the APC in Kano and at the national level?
No, I don't want us to go hypothetically. We don't want us to go that way. I'm not in discussion with anybody in APC now.
Okay. Not even with the governor, with whom some people think you are about to
discussing APC. I wouldn't do it with governor. For what? I'm not. You see, that chapter, as far as I'm concerned, is complete and concluded. I am not. I'm talking of national politics now. Now, if I am to discuss politics, our future, I will do it with the right level here, and it is based on that decision can be taken. But that's why I'm saying I'm not into discussion with anybody in APC about my moving. But you see, the good thing, which people don't know, in politics, whether people are criticizing you or they are praising you, what is important, you are on the news.
Okay.
that means you are very relevant. And that's why you see everybody who is somebody in APC who wants to contest the election, they will put the person there and put Kwankwaso behind him. Some, I don't know whether it's mischief or they felt maybe with me they can win election. But whatever the case, I'm not worried about that. I never told anybody that I want to go to APC or I want to be vice president. I never told, even in my party, I did not declare.
But if it was offered by a presidential candidate from the South, would you take it?
I will be very surprised if they do that. I'm not in APC. I am in PDP. All what we are discussing now within our group is the issue of PDP because that is where I belong.
Okay. So thank you. But the presidential election itself, are you a candidate in that election? Should we be expecting your candidacy? For example, when you were in APC in 2015, you actually went through the primaries process against the current president and 4 other candidates as well. So should we be looking forward to your candidacy in 2023?
Yes, you see, we always advise our friends, especially those who want to join politics. First and foremost, join politics as a politician. Don't join politics as a contestant. Otherwise, you will be terribly disappointed. Maybe you will end up being somebody whose only role in the party is to contest the election. It doesn't work that way. You see, you join politics because you have conviction that if you have an opportunity, you will make life better for everybody. Or if you are supporting somebody, you must make sure that that person is somebody that will make life better for the constituency and country at large. Even for your own good, for your own health, for your own peace. So if you are there talking to people, sharing ideas, and normally you join parties based on facts on the ground, especially the issue of this ideology. You find people just gathering, just based on they want to get this one to get this position, how to steal this, how to do that. That's not the way to do it. So once you have people of like minds, people who believe in a particular ideology, and that's why we are growing. We have an ideology. We know what we want to do if we are there. If we are there day one, like day one in 2011, when I was elected, before when I was sworn in as governor of Kano, within 1 week, I inaugurated State Assembly. I selected my commissioners. I took the list to them. They screened them. I returned them. And within 1 week, Sunday to Sunday, I had my first State Executive Council meeting. Because you know what we've done? Now, over the years, we know exactly what to do with education, what to do with agriculture, even this security. That is the main bane, is the main issue now in this country. As far as I'm concerned, government has no reason, people, leadership of this country has no reason whatsoever to go and sleep while we have these issues in this country where people are not only being killed, their properties are totally destroyed, villages and towns are sacked. People are now living in local government headquarters and state headquarters. So many of them are here in Abuja roaming about to save their lives. They can't even go to their farms because of small criminals in the towns and villages. Why don't you go and talk to these people? The story we have is if you go to Zamfara or Sokoto or Kebbi or this or even, they know the people. They know them. We see them in the social media.
Go back to that ideology issue. Some people would say your own ideology, well, it's because you were first in PDP and then you went to APC and then you went back to the PDP. How does that reflect an ideological
Now, you see, in
politics?
2000, or let me say in 1999,
Yes.
5 houses were built. Politicians were outside there, and everybody was told to go in. We read their manifesto, we read their constitution, but mainly it's the matter of the people themselves. So we were in PDP, others were in AMPP or APP or whatever party, others are in AD and so on. Now there was election, and some of us in PDP, you find the governor of Kano and the governor of another state, same party, but their ideology, their thinking, their understanding of governance is completely different. So that is why, you see, as you are moving, water will be taking its own level. There are people we started with in Kano, but our understanding of governance is completely different. There's no way we can stay with them forever. Why? Because you want to go this way, they want to go the other side. So everybody has to be where he belongs. And that is why we will continue to do whatever it takes to ensure that the right caliber of people in this country come together to salvage this nation.
Maybe we should ask you this question again. Are you talking about the third force? Because for people to come up and salvage the nation outside of the PDP and APC structure, that's third force. Is that what?
You see, in this game, anything is possible.
Okay. Even the third force.
Even third force itself, very possible. And many people think there is no time, there is time. Many people think there is no money, there is money. You see, what we are saying is that the way and manner things are moving in the two political parties are completely wrong. And unless they look back, reflect, and look at what is happening now.
Your Excellency, can you just say it categorically that you are going to float a third political movement in Nigeria outside of PDP and APC? Nigerians are listening.
You see, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Now we are consulting. Now we are talking to, especially where I belong, the PDP, telling them they should try and do the right thing. Because you see, nobody is getting any younger in this country or anywhere in the world. Every day, every month, every year is plus that year to your age. And while you are still strong and active, you have to try and do what is right for you and for people you represent.
So if the PDP and the APC don't do what is right, you will float a third force.
If they refuse to understand and do that, and that's exactly what happened in 2015. That's what we told the PDP. Correct, it is what is happening is wrong. If we go this way, we will lose election. And even if we win election, that is not the way. And the leaders at that time didn't listen. And therefore, some of us decided to effect some changes, democratic changes in the country, which we did successfully. And the same thing this time around in 2023 election. If the party, especially PDP, I'm not talking of APC. APC are doing their own things there. Even though I know, even if you belong to them or if you don't belong to them, if they are doing the right thing, they are doing the right. Especially some of us who have been in the game for some time now. Even them, they are not doing the right thing.
Thank you.
And they have to correct it if they want to succeed.
Otherwise, a whole new political movement in the country. Is that correct?
I think if
yes
there is, Suleiman, from what you are saying now,
yes.
If there is a new, if there is any third force,
yes.
Maybe we should put your name. You are so much interested.
That's all right.
You are so much interested in this third force.
That's all right, yeah. So my final question. You said earlier that your chapter with the governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje is completed. So my final question.
No, not that it was Ganduje.
Okay,
Kano.
with Kano APC.
Kano, we don't need to do, no, don't mix it.
Okay.
You see, what I said about Kano is we have done so much in Kano to the extent that we don't have to go and do too much now.
Okay.
I did not close anything with anybody in Kano.
Okay.
Well, but we are just doing our own.
So is there a possibility that as we move towards 2023, you and him personally can reconcile politically as well?
You see, in politics and in life, nobody would work for a governor or a president and say he doesn't like him or them. Nobody. When I was governor, that's when I had the steering. All of them were just there. I was the driver. I took them to the promised land. And the best anything anybody can do is from the day you are sworn in and the time you are handing over, that's your own. We have done our own. We were successful. We won all the elections. We are so happy that we did those 8 years. Okay. Now, from there, what happens depends on the driver again. It is the driver who decides whether, if I didn't like Ganduje, for example, okay, we started in 1990 and 2003. I wouldn't have taken him to Ministry of Defense to be my special advisor. Okay. I wouldn't have brought him back from Chad to say resign. I told him resign, come back to be my deputy again in 2011. He did. When I was going voluntarily, I said, okay, take over from me. We want an inclusive government, because if we don't give you, probably you may not be happy to be deputy governor or something. Again, being already with me as deputy governor. In other words, you are the most senior in terms of this election. I was governor, you are deputy governor. So come and be the... So you can see consistency in terms of let's work together. But when you got it, he thought otherwise. He didn't even allow me to make mistakes. You know, sometimes you stay for 3 months, 6 months and say, okay, no, why are you shouting at me? Why are you looking so this and that? So that didn't happen. So you see all these questions you are asking. Probably he is the best person to answer those questions. It's just like the president. In the case of National, we worked so hard in 2015. We brought 1.9 million votes, plus more than 1.9 million. He won the election. Again, the 3 times he contested and he lost, we came and gave all what it needed, what it was required, because that group had very little or no experience of getting the national election. We had that experience, and it was provided, and they won election. Now, in that case, if president doesn't say come, you wouldn't go there, because even if you go to the gate, they want to open it for you, say your name is not here. You have to come back. So you see the issue of somebody who is governor, who is president. Nobody will say, I don't like that. Especially the ones you took the pains to install or to convince people to vote.
As a final comment, in other words, if there's going to be reconciliation between you and Ganduje, it has to be initiated by Ganduje. Yes or no?
In general terms,
yes
in general terms, that is how it works.
So
if you have this question, yes, you go and ask him.
Is that right?
Is he willing to go for reconciliation also? I think you should answer that. We are all on this side jobless.
Thank you very much.
But we are happy that we are jobless because we have enough time now to prepare for 2023.
That's all right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It's been quite amazing talking to you. Thank you for staying with us. And this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Daily Politics. We hope that you will join us once again tomorrow when we bring you another edition. My name is Suleiman Suleiman. Good night.